All right. So for those of you watching, this is the 5th episode of the Done Real Estate Podcast. My name is Koukun. I'm a real estate investor and mortgage broker. And this is...
My name is Ryan. I'm a realtor and a real estate investor here in the Niagara Region.
And yeah, so in today's episode, we're going to dive into a couple of real estate deals. Going to go through the numbers, the pictures, and just to take a look at the properties and kind of give our thoughts. Would these be good investment properties that we would personally consider?
Yeah.
Right. So let's dive right in here. So these are the two properties. We're going to start with, let's start with 4 Kirk Street. And I'll share, this was my pick of the two, and then Ryan's pick was 99 Beatrice. So it's a up-down duplex. We'll go into the pictures a little bit later, but let's start with the numbers just so that you guys have a clearer sense of, how do the financials look like from an investment perspective. So nothing too spectacular here on the numbers, and I want to emphasize the reason I chose this property was more for the intangible aspects, not just the financials.
Mm-hmm.
So listed for $599. I don't know. Do you think this is reasonable? It's a legal duplex, purpose built in 2015. So 580. We'll see. I think it was recently listed, so we'll see if it's slow like everything else, then potentially.
Yeah, I would say in this market, $20K price reduction on $600K seems pretty
reasonable, right?
Yeah.
This is where I was a little bit unsure about. The listing says it's owner occupied, so potentially if it's vacant, we can rent it at market rents. The curious part, this was a purpose-built property. So there's a 3-bedroom upper unit that also had a 4th bedroom in the basement. And I think St. Catharines limits the size of your basement units. So the way they got around it is they made the main unit bigger, and then they made the basement unit the maximum allowed. So they still have like a full 2-bedroom basement unit, but the upper unit is like 1,050 square feet plus 150 square feet of basement storage space as well as a additional bedroom. So I don't know, what do you think of rents? I put in 2,100 plus hydro. It is on the higher end. I saw some single family homes for like 25, 26 plus utilities.
Yeah, but I mean that's like $1,000 difference, right?
Yeah, fair, true. Here it's just hydro, and I feel like the 4-bedroom main floor unit.
I think that's comfy because there's a garage in this property too. Am I not?
No garage.
Oh no, I thought that was a
garage.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I think you're comfy there. I mean a 3-bedroom.
Yeah.
Not in St. Catharines is $2,000 comfortable.
Yeah.
In St. Catharines, I gotta look a little closer to that area, but
this is near the
it's near the GO, right? It's
near the GO station, yeah. So like, if you wanted to, you could almost run it as a student rental because I feel like
right off town. Okay.
Yeah, this is the GO. I believe there's a bus that goes from this street right into Brock University.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of student rentals at this point. More from a lending perspective, it's a lot. Like to buy it should be easy, but to refinance it, to do stuff, I don't know if you're getting that much of a premium in rents on 4 students versus a family renting a nice 4-bedroom unit, right?
Yeah, but I think you're very comfortable at 2,100 plus hydro for 4 bedrooms. Very, very comfortable in that location.
And then basement 1,500, 2-bedroom unit, raised bungalow.
Raised bungalow, I think you're actually light on that.
Okay.
I mean we're getting that comfortably in Welland.
With just a regular
with just like a regular St. Catharines, I think honestly I think 1,600 is
cool,
plenty, but yeah.
So that could work.
Yeah.
That could work. So yeah, I ran the numbers. Mortgage, property taxes are a little bit higher on this one because it's newer build.
New build, yeah.
Insurance, just the heat and water, property management. So roughly about $350 in cash flow, maybe $100 extra with if you get a little bit more on the basement there. So again, not a crazy amount of cash flow, but and just some of the overall numbers. But yeah, let's dive into the property. The reason, like, this reminds me of one of my duplexes that I own in Welland, which it is a raised bungalow as well.
It's very similar, isn't it?
Not purpose built though. So this one's a little bit nicer there, where they've like carved out a space in the basement for the upper. Like, it's a bit expensive to do that kind of renovation to a existing property. Yeah. But yeah, like, so when I bought my duplex on Fitch Street in Welland, it is also a 2015 build. I had to convert it into a legal duplex. My one's much smaller than this. So I only have a 2-bedroom upper unit and a 1-bedroom basement unit. But the reason I like that property is that it's a 2015 build. So like your foundation is poured concrete, raised bungalow, nice high ceilings in the basement, big windows, and just the, I don't know, there is something about a newer built property. If you're not overpaying for it, it is really nice to have. Like if you're thinking the next
long-term
20, 30
longevity,
years.
right? Yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, your roof and everything like that's 10 years old or whatever,
Yeah.
but you know, everything else is also only 10 years old, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and like the mechanicals. There's something about, like, I've seen many older properties in my life as an investor, and I've seen newer properties, and like when possible, I prefer newer properties. Now, it doesn't have to be this new. It's nice when it is this new, but I would go even as far as like even the 90s built homes are really nice.
well, you get rid of some of those internal things that will inherently fail.
Yeah.
Right? Like we have a duplex that's I think half of it was built in like 1890 something, and the other half was built in 1912,
Yeah.
and it's like the plumbing is going to fail
Yeah.
when I own that property. It's going to happen. It's a cost we know. We budget for it, but the plumbing will, like, your PEX and your plastic drain is going to last longer than we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not going anywhere. A lot of those, you know, things that just are going to break down on a 80, 70, 100-year-old property, they're not going to break down here because we've got 80, 70, 100 years ahead of us.
No, exactly. And so I don't know. I think it really goes to like the type of investor looking at these deals. If you're the type of person that wants to get your hands dirty, like buy an older building that needs work, get a good deal on it, put the work in.
Mm-hmm.
This property probably doesn't need any work. We can take a look at the pictures here. It's
Maybe put in a driveway if you want when you
Yeah.
make a little bit of money, but like it's not the end of the world, obviously.
yeah, maybe pave the driveway there. I think the interior, it is like 10 years old now, but you know, functionally wise, I think it's like we do renovate our units sometimes a little bit nicer than this when we're doing a conversion.
Yep.
But if it's already in this shape, like, I don't know. I think it's fine the way it is. You know, carpet's not my favorite thing to put in a rental, but if
It's good right now. You'll have to replace it at some point.
yeah,
But
exactly.
cross that bridge when you get there.
Yeah,
It looks actually really good in the pictures.
yeah. So some of these pictures may be the basement actually. So it's a bit because I see ductwork.
Yeah, that's definitely the lower level.
Which is unlikely to be in the upper floor. But no, actually never mind. There is duct in the upper floor. That is interesting. You know what? This property has separate ACs. So they have separate hydro, but 2 ACs. So I think they've had to make two venting systems. And maybe also because it's a legal duplex, when they did the permits and drawings, they may have had to.
Do they have 2 gas meters or no? No.
Let me check. So laundry upstairs, which is nice. So this is the main entrance, but that also goes into the basement where and this is from the back now, so it's a bit confusing. But I think the front room of the basement, which is
Right.
part of the main floor, just you go down the staircase in your own unit, right?
Yeah,
So
that's nice.
I really like this setup for a large upper unit, and this is the rear entrance to the basement. Kitchen over here. It's going to be a small unit. I think St. Catharines limits their basement units to something like 650 square feet, right? So
I believe it's 646.
yeah, but
I think that may have changed.
yeah,
I don't know when they. Anyways.
that would be good if they change it. It's kind of silly, but look at these windows in a basement. Like, so maybe that 1500 amount is on the lower side there.
Mhm.
Like
I think so.
it's almost like a ground floor unit, right? Like, so kitchen, you got your bathroom, you got a bedroom there, and probably another bedroom on this side. Ductwork looks a little bit low, but I think
I think you have pretty, because
it's a door frame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. True. A door. If it's a full size door.
And then look at the fridge.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So still decent height. Nice closet size. Like, yeah. Okay. I believe they said 2 bedrooms. I didn't see this. Oh, maybe this is the second bedroom, more in the front here, and then a bathroom in between there. Yeah, like shared backyard.
2 gas meters.
So this is interesting. So
So your
Potentially.
cash flow just changed.
yeah, we could.
Probably got an extra $100 easy.
Yeah. So if we do plus hydro and gas.
Yeah. And I don't think your rent's going to change a whole lot for that. Because I think we're already a bit low on the rents.
Yeah.
So I think you add in gas there. And
so this became a lot more appealing from so if you're an investor that wants to be hands off, like
you also want to be like, I don't know about you, but depending on which city the property that I own is in, prices for things have gone up, right? Like for instance, like in Port Colborne, hydro and water are so much higher than in Welland.
Interesting.
Right? So obviously you're not insulated from water here, but you're insulated from hydro. You're insulated from gas is kind of everywhere from Enbridge. And you're also insulated from from one tenant wanting to have it at 75 and one tenant wanting to have it at 65 or Celsius.
And I feel like the better quality of tenant you attract, they're gonna appreciate some of these features. They're gonna be like, oh, I can set my own heat. I pay for my own like AC. So like, if I want to save on money, I can use it less. If I really just want to have a cool home,
you're getting people that are taking on more responsibilities, and generally speaking, those are going to be better.
I'll tell you something practically. Like, so I've been the type of person to always leave my home as like warm as I can. In the summertime, I'm like, yeah, just use the AC when we need it, right? So our child, we just had a second kid a couple of months ago. She has like eczema, right? So her skin's very sensitive. So like we're now having our home at like 22 degrees in the summertime, and I'm like, I'm freezing in here, and my wife's like, nope, we're doing whatever it takes to take care of the baby, right? So like there are situations where like if we were renting, would we pay $100 more to rent a place that we could control the heat? 100%.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's situations where that can probably be very valuable to the right type of tenant. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those markets too where you can maybe even sit a little bit, let it sit for a month, doesn't sell, and maybe you pick it up for a little bit better, and now you've got a great property that you're going to be able to get premium tenants at. You look at the location too. Like you're in Western Hill, so you got like a good kind of mix there. I would say it's a very good spot for renters. You're close to a lot of public transit. You're close to the GO station, and you can kind of also get other areas in the region, right? Like you can go out west, you can get north, you can get south pretty quickly. Yeah,
like Penn Center's right here, GO Train's right here. There's sort of this mall, I forget what it's called, but the
Fairview? No, that's up over there.
Yeah, this is like the shopping center. We go here all the time, but I forget the name. But yeah, Western Hill. So like, it is nice to own rentals that are close to really nice neighborhoods. Sometimes you can't get into the best neighborhoods because it's obviously pricey.
Yep.
But like, so I know even here, this is a townhouse complex that's for like retirees.
Yep.
I think those homes are in like the high 900s to $1 million, right?
Yeah, well, you keep going south there, and you're going all through there, and those all have like ravine lots and water view. And,
So this part is really nice. This specific area, I believe, is somewhat older.
Yeah.
But again, it's like adjacent to like a really nice area. So, we've had quite a few investors buying this area. Remember, one of our clients bought like a up-down duplex. Wasn't he saying that he got like something crazy in terms of applications for his like a small 1-bedroom, like vaulted.
We've leased out a bunch of places in there, and they always, like, you're not getting the premium of North End, but they always rent well. They always rent well. There's always high demand. I think you have a lot of people. There's schools over there too, right? So, I think it's one of those ones where you're going to get it. Where if you can get that number of $500 a month cash flow, which I think after we take into account the gas and everything,
some of these changes,
we're pretty comfy. And you got something that's, you're never going to have to put money into, that is going to appreciate well because it's a new building.
Yeah.
Like, you're in a pretty great spot. So
honestly, I like this property a lot. It separate hydro and gas meters, own laundry, AC, dishwasher, separate entrance. Yeah. Like, and I'll tell you this, like, I am not a fan of doing a duplex conversion in St. Catharines right now. Just like the pain that the city makes you go through to legalize a unit. Now, that being said, the flip side of that is, I don't know if you can attest to this, but at least what I've noticed is when the rental market got softer, Welland had a lot more supply of rental units. I don't think St. Catharines ever got to that point in terms of supply of rental units. I don't know, this is my theory that just maybe because it's hard to create them and like construction always takes forever, or an investor does one, he doesn't want to do another one in the same city. So I don't know. What do you think? It's a bigger population base too, so I guess that may help.
I think you have a bigger I think from my understanding, we haven't done a duplex conversion here in a few years.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, the city has gotten better from when it was the worst.
Okay.
Now, it's a combination of St. Catharines getting a little bit better and other cities getting worse to deal with. So the gap has kind of much tighter. But when people were going gangbusters in Welland because it was a 5'11" ceiling and it was sure, that's 6'4", like let's just pass everything through, right? Like it was the easiest city to work with. So there was an abundance of supply created during that time period in a city that's 1/3 of the size of St. Catharines. Whereas during that same period of St. Catharines, people wanted to do it, but they were so much more restricted. So you got way less supply created during that time period. I think the amount of supply that's being created now is starting to balance out. But they're already at such a deficit.
That's right.
Right? So I do find that renting out in St. Catharines, whether it's a combination of rental supply, city, just pure population, it's definitely a lot easier than it is in Welland right now. And even like, further south you go, the easier. So
well, one of the investors we work with, he bought a Sixplex just right next to the rail station.
Yeah. I rented out a few units for him recently. Yeah.
So do those units get any demand from people who are willing to take the GO train to any of the cities closer, or is it not?
No, it was all locals. Like we did, I think, a 2-bedroom and a 1-bedroom in there recently, which his numbers blew away. Those numbers, by the way, like the 2-bedroom was way more than 1,500.
Really?
Yes. I mean, it's an apartment building, but I think the unit size and everything was.
Oh, so I may be really conservative here.
Yeah, I mean, he was like, I think he was 1,800 for a 2-bedroom there, but it made for apartment building too. Right.
Okay, main floor, but apartment building, like
pros and cons.
I would rather live in a duplex than an apartment building, right?
But not everybody's like that. But I would too. As someone who's lived in a duplex, would definitely rather go that way.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of in a good spot there in terms of all that, and new properties are nice. Like to buy a new property that actually cash flows. When was the last time that happened?
No, that's exactly it. So like
when was the last time that happened?
These opportunities have always been around, right? We'd occasionally get people reaching out to us saying, hey, we're a builder, we've built this new built property, but you have to pay like 150 grand more than what it would cost for us to buy an existing property and renovate it. Right? That was typically the conversation. We're like, yes, it's nice, but do we want to like pay that much extra for it? Versus here, it's like, I'm not seeing a whole lot of legal duplex sales in St. Catharines go significantly below this. I think I saw another listing that was listed at like 490.
Yeah.
It still ended up selling at like the 580, 590 range, right? So if you can get a newer build for the same price as a conversion, I think that may have been in a slightly more mature neighborhood, North End, that kind of thing. But I think there's some real pros here if you can get something that is newer in a decent area and that can get some solid rent. So
I think this is if you are a newer investor looking to get into this market and you are green, this is an absolute beauty. Or if it's your last one and you're done with the headaches and you want to buy one more, absolutely. Like, you know what I mean?
No,
it's very, very simple. I think it'll make good steady money, something you can hold for a long time, shouldn't have a lot. I think we're now
and honestly, like a few conversations I've been having with investors recently is like they are busy with the other things they are doing in life. They run a business or they work a high-paying job, and it's like they don't want their investing to become their part-time job. This is the type of property that like you buy it, you hand it to a property manager, and like they literally deal with everything. Like, you don't have to like, there's nothing to do, right?
There's not going to be like, the foundation wall is collapsing, or there's the cast iron pipe that's leaking through 3 floors, and now we got to make. Not going to happen, right? So. Now, on the opposite side, let's go look at the one that I had.
Alright, so let's take a look here. So this is in the city of Welland. 99 Beatrice Avenue. So South Welland.
Yeah.
My duplex actually is just over here on Sour, so yeah, just a few streets over. We've had plenty of investors buy, Commercial Street, Alberta, quite a few on this area. So yeah, let's talk through this property. So let's start with maybe the numbers on this one. Let's take a look here.
There we go. So this one's been on the market a good bit longer. So depending on how aggressive you want to get, I think price could be more or less around there. But I think 700 is very, very reasonable expectation. Where do we got? Where's our rents down there? Do we have them?
Yeah. So I just put it.
Oh, you just put it in total. Gotcha. But yeah, so I mean, we're like literally almost at 1% rule here.
Yes.
Right, which is very, very, very rare in our market.
Yeah.
I think our property class here, we're in what I would consider B- C+ area.
It's not that bad, right? Because it's kind of out of the downtown core, which can get a little bit more rough. And this street, like, your neighbors are probably just residential homes, right? Like, it's not in like an apartment kind of area. So
no.
Yeah, bit of an older building, but
yeah, you're gonna have a bit of an older building. It obviously was a converted property,
Yeah.
Turned into a Sixplex. So some of those problems that we were talking about with the last thing are very much possible to come here. Now, your cash flow is going to allow you to kind of take care of all that, right? Because do you have the actual rents up there, the full rents? Because I believe we're still at 2 of the 3 are significantly under market, or sorry, 2 of the 6 I think are significantly under market value as well.
All right, so we just pulled up the rent roll here. So let's take a look here.
There we go. Yeah, so you're at 1500 like market, 740, 728, and 1400. So yeah, so actually 3 of the, so half the units are what I would consider definitely under market rent.
And these are big units, right? So 5 2-bedroom units and a 3-bedroom unit.
So you think about a 2-bedroom at 611. We're pretty light. Now the beautiful thing about this is obviously like these people are not just going to get up and leave tomorrow, right? You can work with them. There's different strategies in there. But this property already makes a boatload of cash flow with those properties in there.
Yes.
So over time, as you work through the property, you do get those market rents up. You're going to actually see a big jump in your monthly cash flow as well. Like you could almost consider doubling those. The 611 you can definitely double. Maybe not quite double the other 2, but pretty close.
But
right?
Close enough, right? Close enough. And it'd be curious to see which one's even the 3-bedroom unit, because
I believe it's the 611 when I talk with the agent.
Okay. Oh wow. Yeah. So the one thing about this property is like the expenses. Property tax is not that bad. Insurance, that is probably realistic for a 6-unit building. The utilities are quite a bit. Now these, I think they're probably just estimates because he's using round numbers here. But it's not that far off, because I think in our 4-plex that I used to own, we were spending roughly $600 a month on utilities for 4 units. So potentially there may be like ways for you to drive down some of this cost. Maybe.
Well, I do think that there's some energy efficiency updates that could be made to the building, right? This is one of those properties, literally the exact opposite of what we just saw, right? Which I think is kind of fun to do, but like I think this is a building that you can go and you can buy. You're going to have money accumulating in your account from day one.
Yes.
And we are now going to use that money to improve this building, right? Maybe we start with windows in 1 unit. We're going to reduce some heating costs. Then we keep kind of working around to kind of improve some efficiencies, and ideally, kind of start working on getting those 3 below rents up to market rents. And then this is one of those ones where you get your hands dirty a little bit, right? You kind of go through here and you what we call stabilize the building, right? You kind of optimize it in the first 3 to 5 years, and then our numbers are going to look even better when we're done, right? I would not say this is for any of those people we just talked about. Your first investor, or your last property that you're. You
got to get ready to get your hands dirty. Like we're putting in a property management expense here, but very realistically you're going to be involved even if you have a property manager.
Yes, this is one of those ones that I think like you could certainly do with a property manager, and there's enough cash flow there that you could like let it run, and you kind of let it kind of organically go, and you could do things over time. I personally that's not how I would run this property.
Yeah.
I think this is a property that's great for someone who's got a little bit of time. Maybe you're young or whatever, and you're ready to kind of get in there and do a little bit of work and take on a small part-time job, right? And in doing that, you're going to get paid like a small part-time job.
Well, probably the best is if you find someone who's entrepreneurial enough to like move into one of the units and then be the hands-on manager. Like if you're a bit handy, fix up some of the units and try to improve it over time. Probably not the audience we're speaking to here, but I feel like for that person, or just for someone who's ready to accumulate more multifamily properties that come with work, honestly. Like,
if you're an experienced investor used to dealing with this, it's great. If you're some young kid who got a little inheritance or whatever it is, and like you want to learn by fire, you go take on this. You'll either never buy another one or you're going to buy 20. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You're either going to be like, this is not for me. I am not looking to do this, or you're going to be like, I can handle this. I like this.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go make some money, kind of thing.
So I think 3 units may actually be vacant.
They've been rented.
So they've been renovated, creating a strong foundation for future revenue. Yeah, I wonder if they've already rented it out or if they've...
I believe, I spoke with this agent. I'm fairly certain the property's fully tenanted.
Fully tenanted? Okay.
Yeah, I spoke with him a little bit ago. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think these are kind of 2 properties. These are just kind of showing, I think, what's out there.
Yeah.
And the fact that depending on what you are looking for, from an investment perspective, if you're that investor who wants to kind of be a little bit more hands off, if you're like, hey, I want to go kind of, build some sweat equity, right? There are options for everyone. And I think the beautiful thing is, stuff's not flying. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of take your time, you can do your due diligence, you can kind of look into these things. And there's opportunities out there, right? Yeah. When was the last time you saw something at 1%?
Yeah, it's never. I think more recently I am seeing slightly better deals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People have to sell. Yeah. People are in situations where they want to sell.
Yeah.
Whether that's because they want to sell this to buy 30 units, or whether it's because they just need to sell. We're seeing those situations, and I mean, I was looking the other day at we were looking for this. I was looking at investment properties in Niagara. There was 214 listed,
okay,
and I believe 117 at 650 or less. And that's a duplex or more.
Yeah.
Residential only, not commercial.
Okay.
That are listed for. So there's an abundance of options out there. Now, a lot of them, I don't think I touch with a 10-foot pole.
Yes.
But
well, that is the hard part, right? Like it's taken us years of like looking at properties to be able to like filter through them to like, it's so quick for us to see like, is this one that we would want to even bring in front of like our audience?
Yeah.
Because does the numbers make sense? Does the property make sense? Does the area make sense? Like, and every investment comes with some challenges. So it's not going to be the perfect property, but like, is the risk reward worth it?
Exactly.
Right? So
exactly, right? Like this obviously comes with more headaches, but you get rewarded.
Yeah.
Right. The other one, I think there's a much less risk, should be much less headaches, but you're not getting as nice of a reward, right?
Yeah.
So
this duplex, I'll be honest, like it really, it checks a lot of boxes for me. I will say this, like so in my own investing, I've kind of gone full circle, right? I was crazy aggressive, buying a bunch of properties, partnering with people, then went through a phase of like exiting partnerships, selling off some properties that I didn't want to just deal with, honestly, especially student rentals where I'm very happy to be out of those, just the amount of work they came with. But yeah, now like I wouldn't say I'm ready to buy more yet, just from a personal circumstance. I need to like buy our next home, and there's like a few things I need to get in place first. But I will say that my interest in terms of even looking for the next deal, like I find myself like almost every week just browsing through like the investment listings and just like seeing what's out there and like getting back into that frame of mind of like, okay, run the numbers, how does this make sense? Like and occasionally like I see some deals that transact, I'm like, ooh, like even that 8plex that we showcased on I think episode 3 or 4, that's back on the market, I saw. Right. So like I'm surprised, like that one got sold conditionally almost immediately. And then it came back. Have you had anyone inquire about that one?
No.
that one's still like a...
Yeah, like there's a lot of interesting cases right now, right? I think...
you just have to be willing to like go against the grain in terms of the overall rhetoric and just like hold on to that asset long enough. Because like, and I find the curious part about this that I'm noticing is like, I think I've set myself up in a position where I am less emotionally attached to my properties. So I have the 2 properties, I have a bunch in index funds, so like I'm a little bit less attached to it. But I see it in some of my friends and some of our clients who, you know, they really maybe overinvested, or they just put like a lot of their money into real estate. And I'm starting to see the signs of like capitulation now, where they're giving me calls like, is it worth it? Should I just exit? And not for a real financial reason, but just like
a capacity, like a personal capacity. I don't have the capacity to keep dealing with this anymore.
Yeah, but it's always like nothing crazy. It's like small issues come up, but like their reaction to it is like, should I just let go of it? One in particular bought the properties in like 2020 at a good price. So not even like at the peak, but like
they've made
right after COVID. No, but that's the thing. The prices are starting to come back to almost that same level.
Okay.
So now they're like, what was the last 5 years for, right? But in my mind, the reverse of that is like, if we're hitting these levels, is the next 5-10 years likely going to be up or likely going to be down? And like the lower it goes and the more people's sentiment turns negative and they're like, I just want out, I feel like that. So maybe that's the contrarian in me, where I'm like trying to be opposite everyone else often. So it's like, oh wait, like if people are getting to their limit now, maybe now is the time where like some of the best deals are going to happen that over time will work out. Now there's a chance it gets worse, but like it's, I don't know, that's how I'm starting to feel, at least, where I'm seeing it in the conversations that I have. And someone I follow a lot is like Howard Marks, and he talks about like a bubble or like the trough in a cycle is not determined necessarily by prices, is determined by people's like sentiment and the psychology, right? Like when things are at their peak, people are like, I want to pay more because it's going to go up more. And then when things get to their like capitulation is like almost a sign of like you may be near a bottom, when people are like throwing in the towel. They're like, for no reason other than they're just discouraged and they just want to like move on, right? So what do you think of all of that?
I get a lot of phone calls from people all the time that are, you know, maybe not quite there, but it's I don't really know if I want to keep doing this anymore. I think it's just time for me to get out, right? And I would say I try and talk like almost on like, how old are you? What's your runway? Like, you know, do you think you can figure it out for a little bit longer, right? If you want to sell it, I will, but this is what you're going to sell it for, and it's probably not going to be what you're looking for. Right? And everybody's in a different position, right?
And but it's like very much so. Like we had the same conversation when I was selling my duplex or no, single family in Fort Erie, right? Like we literally had this conversation. I was like, look, I want to exit, and I think I was asking you, should I wait a year or should I just sell it? And you're like, how much do you think you can get for it? Like, does the numbers work? Is it a property you're like, if you had to wait 5 years, would you be okay? I was like, I don't think I'd be okay. Okay, just sell it and take the price that the buyer gives you. Don't like mess around with
I cannot tell you how often I have dealt with this recently, where we get an offer, it's not great, and we're like, do we take it? Do we not take it? Do we take it? Do we not take it? We don't take it, and we lose so much money, right? Because, I was hoping for this, I was hoping for that. Almost, when the market's going down, the first offer you get might not be the first price you get from that offer, but like getting that first offer to, you know, their maximum price, 9 times out of 10 is going to be the best offer that you're going to get.
Do you have any investors who are putting lowball bids on some of these deals?
I mean, I can say that like from a selling perspective,
you're receiving a lot of lowball bids.
I'm receiving them.
Okay.
I would say that, you know, it's actually interesting. Like I've had a couple deals recently where the buyer got it under contract, and then for one reason or another, the seller couldn't either fulfill the contract or the seller couldn't close on the property. Like the seller had a condition,
Okay.
Or another time the seller couldn't close on the property. And what's interesting is the people who buy these properties, they get such a good deal that now when they go looking, their criteria gets like so strict because they were dealing with a very, very desperate seller.
Yes.
Who needed to sell the property.
Yes.
We got a contract together with this seller
Yeah.
at a price significantly below market value.
Okay.
We then, completed our due diligence, wanted to firm up, and then for whatever reason, the seller couldn't accept it. They either, whatever, there's a bunch of different reasons there, and they couldn't get it. Now taking this buyer out again, everything is overpriced. Right? And so it's very interesting where, there are deals right now where if you're a patient fisherman, there's some big fish that come along, right? Like there are certainly very good opportunities out there. It's not like, oh, let's go jump on this one and let's go buy 4 Kirk at asking. Maybe that fits your profile, maybe it doesn't, right? But you could be like, I like this property. Let's sit and watch it for 2 weeks and let's see what happens. And then let's throw it in. Like I've had people, sometimes on investment, sometimes not, but we offer on a place. 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from the listing agent. Hey, are your people still around?
Yeah.
That offer that we really hated, we kind of would like it now.
And I think, so this is where, these are the unique advantages for investors. So your ability to, you're not restricted by school neighborhood or specific street or specific area, right?
Or you're going to be homeless, so you need to buy tomorrow.
You don't have a time restriction, right? So put in those lowball bids. But the other part is don't get greedy when the person comes back. Right?
If we're getting it for $30K below market value, guys, let's maybe not push for the extra 5. Let's just take the $30K win.
you're in a unique situation getting that call back where you can say yes for the most part, unless you bought something else, right? Versus sometimes when home buyers put an offer and when it doesn't get accepted, they're shopping for a home, they may have bought something else. As an investor, it's like you put an offer, unless in that time period you bought something else, when you get that return phone call, that's what you want.
That's what we've been waiting for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't know the seller's situation, but a property like this, I don't think you're gonna get a great deal because I was looking at the history. Unless they refinanced it, but even then, I don't know if you're getting a great deal. They bought it for $300,000, right? So they bought it brand new for $300,000, so they're doing well on it. They're doubling their money, right? Regardless, I guess it depends on what their circumstance is, but they should be walking away with a pretty penny unless they've refinanced. And if they refinance, I don't know if they're gonna give it to you for a deal either, just because they need a certain amount to pay off their mortgages.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where you literally never know, right? This guy could have 10 investment properties.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
And we need to do this for this. Yeah. Or,
Or they put an offer on a Beatrice and they're like, I need the cash to close on it, right? So that is true.
Right?
There's
lots of different things that are going on right now. I've dealt with sellers that aren't necessarily in a bad financial position, but they still need to sell that property because of another opportunity. And they're just like, it's what the market's going to bear. I'm fine. I'm going to take it off. Right? Other people are in very different situations. I literally need this number. Otherwise, I can't afford to sell my property. Right? So you don't know until you kind of go in there. And I think a lot of, wherever you're shopping, a lot of that is understanding how to deal with sellers in that situation. Because you can 100% say, let's use Kent there. It's 600. You go in there at a 510 offer without talking to the listing agent first. You're not going to get the seller's best price, right? Kind of, having a conversation, finding out where people's motivations are, being like, hey, I don't see the value up here. We're kind of seeing a value somewhere around here. Am I wet? Is your seller going to be offended? Are we doing anything? Are we wasting time? Sometimes they're like, no, put something on paper. We'll get you a counter and we'll try and make this work, right? Other times they're like, wait 2 weeks. He's not in the right spot. You know what I mean? And so working with other agents, dealing with somebody who kind of understands that, because sometimes if you want that property for $560, sometimes offering $510 to get them to come down is not how you get them to $560.
Interesting.
Right? It's offering $550, getting them to come down to $580, and then being like, hey, my max is here, because you want to get them closer, right? When we seem so far apart, they just think you're a tire kicker or too much of a low ball. I can start low and only go up $10,000. and get the seller to meet us there much easier than I can go, oh, I'm going to start at 500, you're going to start at 600, and we'll land at 550. Like, it's much less likely to happen that way than to kind of do it the other way, right?
Yeah.
So
I think if you really want to get those lower prices, like if I remember what I've seen in the past, and I don't recommend it now on the mortgage side in terms of going firm, but like I have seen some of the best deals are like when you can close quickly with a firm offer, and the property needs work, there's some problems with it, and you're just taking that on.
You are solving their problem.
Exactly. Like, remember we were talking about it, there was like a sale that happened in Welland, something like a 600K home that sold for like 450. I forget the
Yes.
thing now.
No, yeah. It was an agent in our office listed it.
Yeah.
And I believe you're correct. It was a $600,000 home. They received an offer for very close to asking with the sale of property.
Okay.
I don't know their specific situations. The agent didn't share this with us. But then, long story short, they turned down that offer, got another offer a couple weeks later for 450 cash, 30-day closing, no conditions, and they took that.
Yeah.
So they took $140,000 loss.
No, potentially they couldn't get the 600. Maybe it would have been like 550 or something. But it's still, there was like enough of a discount. But I think my challenge with those kind of stories is like, is that the type of property that you would want to own as an investment? Because like, maybe it's just a single family home, but then you're doing the work to convert into a duplex, right? I know we did that a lot, but right now it feels like there's enough opportunities where you can do less work and just get the property at a good deal and just rent it out, right? Including many legal duplexes that other people have converted that are now coming for sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an interesting time. I think that if you're looking to invest, and I think you have your criteria well, you've ironed it out, you know what you're willing to take on, you know what type of property you're looking at, or maybe you're just interested in investing, you haven't gone that far, you need to explore that, but you're willing to do that, you're willing to take that time, see what it is, talk with somebody who can give you like real answers on this is how much work it's going to be, this is all that other kind of stuff, and you look for something in your thing, like I think you can get some great deals right now. You don't want to do the reverse, obviously, where you're coming in and it's like, oh man, this is a fantastic deal. I have no construction experience. I'm going to have to do all of this. And then you end up over your head in your water, and then you're like 10 times worse off. So I think really knowing yourself and knowing what you're doing and being honest with yourself about what you're looking for, if you can do that, I think there's some fantastic properties out there, right? So
yeah, and I think like when I started investing in 2013, like my approach was I wanted to buy a property a year and just like keep doing that consistently.
Why do we all have that same thing? Why was that the goal? Everybody had the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know why. But I think, now I don't know if I recommend that, but like I think that is a way, like I think my thought process was like, can I dollar cost average into the real estate market? And how I did it was like I partnered up, right? I found people, so like I didn't have to come up with the full down payment every time, but it allowed me to like stay active in the market, try out a few different types of properties and not like, and see like, do I like this, what works, what doesn't. So if you can do something like that starting now, over the next, call it 5 years, you buy 5 different properties, like
you're going to do just fine.
It will work out probably quite well. Like I think buying at today's prices and like staying active in the market so that, you know, ultimately it's like the best deals come when you are in the market actively, right? Because for example, if you're working with a buyer, you've offered on a few places and like you hear of an amazing deal, like the reality is like we're trying to do these kind of, you know, videos where we showcase properties, but like if it's a very attractive property, it's probably very time sensitive, and you need to bring it in front of a person who can take action quickly, who knows the market that they're in currently, who has their financing in order, who has the down payment in order, who has like their ducks in a row, right? They're getting that first call. So if, you know, if someone's watching this, if you want to be that person who gets the first call, part of it comes from like having those initial conversations, going out to see a few properties, having a criteria,
or even like certain times where, you know, I think of some of the best deals that investor clients of mine have gotten even over the years, right? Like just no matter really which market that we're talking about, I got like 5 deals that just come to my mind where I had an investor who was ready. He said, this is what I'm looking for. If you have this, you call me. I'm ready to take action.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or whatever it was, I was negotiating on this property with a different buyer. I was talking with the listing agent for this or that or the other, and like something comes up where it's like, hey, we just had this deal fell through. We just had this.
Yeah.
Like, you can get a great deal on this if you basically act now.
Well, that's how I bought the last 2 properties that I bought, right? Like this was back in my realtor days. I was representing investor clients who had one negotiated back and forth with the seller, and the other one we didn't even negotiate, but we just got it at list price when things were selling much higher, and both of them backed out for various reasons, not specific to the property. One was kind of related to the property, but in both cases I was like, and I asked my clients this, right, back then. I was like, look, I like this property, and I'm not telling this to you as a sales tactic, but like, I would like to buy this property if you don't want to buy it. Like, is that okay? Right? And both times they're like, I feel bad for wasting your time. So like, if you want it, please buy it. Right? I'm like, beautiful. And like, I ended up buying those 2 properties. By the way, from a sales perspective, that is probably one of the hardest things for a client to hear, that there's got to be a piece of them that's like, am I making a mistake here?
Yeah.
Like, if this guy's willing to buy it, like, what is he seeing that I'm not seeing?
I did 2 properties like that too, where it was, we had a deal in place, buyer fell through for whatever reason, and I was like, this is great. Call 3 other people, they don't want it. Okay, hey, you don't want it, right? Yeah, okay, then I'm gonna buy it. Okay, you're cool with that? Yeah, okay, great. See you later. I mean, it's one of those ones where, but we obviously, we get those deals because we are super active in the market, right? I always, like, realistically speaking, there's a saying that a broker of record has always said to me, where never buy a property that you can sell, right? So like, in those situations, even when those come up, and I did buy, I called my short list, my people who are prepared, ready to go, active and strong. I called them first because I'd rather just, make their money. But if they say no and I got no one to sell it to and it's a good deal, then
I will say that is the one thing that I'm looking forward to now that I'm on the mortgage side, where I don't have clients that I'm
competing with,
that I'm essentially, where it's like I can look and find deals, right? We can talk these through without like me having that conflict of interest, so to speak. But there's enough opportunity when you're active. Like, I feel that's the one thing that there's not. Yes, it's hard to come across them. Like, if you're day in, day out looking at investment properties and like looking for deals, like there's enough for any investor to find
now,
right?
Absolutely.
Now especially, but even back then, even when the market was active, we saw like some deals were just like, it's like there's always opportunities, right? Just because there's always people who have problems, and like you kind of find ways to solve their problems, right?
That's why you get paid in life.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter really what it is. That's why you get paid. You get paid to solve people's problems, right? So, but I think all that to say basically is, if you're thinking about investing, you're nervous about it, you're whatever it is, like getting your ducks in a row, being prepared. It doesn't mean like go run out and buy the first property you see, but you can't catch fish if you don't have a line in the water.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And it doesn't mean you got to reel in every one that you get. You can catch and release and wait for the big one to come. Right. But
no, exactly.
You're never gonna get a great deal not being prepared, because I'm gonna call you. You're gonna call you. Bill's gonna call. Whoever's gonna call you, and you're gonna say, "Oh, I got to go talk to my mortgage broker. I got to do this." And if it is a good deal, I'm moving down the list.
Well, what I found is if you're not active and you get presented a good deal, it's very common to become extra conservative.
Yeah, you don't recognize that it's a good deal.
Yeah, because it's presented to you and you're like, oh, can I get this for like 10 grand less? It's like, no. The reason we're bringing this to you, it's already like 50 grand less than where it should be. Like, and that was the second deal I purchased that I talked to you about, where it was listed back then at $399 for this raised bungalow. And I'm like, and I called the listing agent. I was like, can we buy it for $399?
Are you holding offers?
And I literally looked on that listing, like, not holding offers.
Did he make a mistake?
It's like, my client put an offer, and like we got out of contract 5 business days. then at the end, I like asked the listing agent, look, I'm sorry, like my client's backing out. We already did the inspection. I love the home, right? Nothing wrong with it. I still need a few days to get my financing, but like, can I take it over? And she was like, you know, we've had like a few agents call us and like say they're interested, but like if you've already done the inspection and you just need a few days for financing, like we'll give it to you at the same price. And I was like, this is like ridiculous. Like that's great. Because I feel like that was the type of home at that time when the bidding wars were starting, but not everywhere.
Yeah.
So like if it was even like a month or two later, or even if that agent had just put in a 5 business day or a 5, the holding period, it may have gone for 450, 500, who knows, right? So I was very grateful about that property. So
awesome. Well.
Yeah, I
think we wrap up.
We covered quite a bit here. We don't really have a whole lot of data on the past ones. I think for next time we'll make sure to bring all the past properties we've showcased to see if they have sold. Properties are taking more time to sell, so even some of the ones we've presented before may not have sold.
Well, I think one of the most interesting things too is if you go through and you do look at the solds, it's, we're obviously picking out featured properties for you. Right? But kind of echoing what we've been saying here is some of the ones that sell are just, you're like, oh my gosh, that sold for $80,000 less or something like that, right? So it's people who were out looking, had their things, and they weren't paying asking price, but they got a good deal done, right? And sometimes you have these people who they're just not willing to move, but you find that out by being active, right? So even if these don't sell, we'll pull up a couple sold ones to show you what things are trading for and kind of do that.
If any of you have watched the episode of the Sixplex on Hager Street, like, that property came back on the market. Like it's only a few streets over from where we're filming this. And like this, I wonder if it's too early to say this, but I wonder if we look back like 20-30 years from now, if we say this was the time that there were far more opportunities than any time after that. Because like
I think the next few years we're gonna there's gonna be a time period in the next 3 to 5 years where it's gonna be that time period.
I think so. It's not like a blip. I don't think.
I don't know if it's today. I don't know if it's next year. I don't know if it's 3 years from now. But I think that again, if you're looking to hold this thing for a long period of time.
And I think that's where the dollar cost averaging approach, like if you can, I know it's not easy financially to do it, but like if you can have the means to like buy a property every year or every 2 years and just like accumulate a handful of properties, I think that's where, like over the next 10, 15 years, I don't know, I'm, even my own emotions around investing has been a bit of a roller coaster, but there's a piece of me that it's starting to turn where I'm like I'm almost letting the opportunities convince me than be convinced before I find the opportunity, and I'm starting to feel like, whoa, there's like more opportunities that are like really compelling, not just in general, but it's like, like this property, for example, on Kirk Street is like, I would like a newer property that's already a legal duplex that can get good rents and cash flow and like can be low maintenance to just keep for a long. It's like, whoa, wait a second, like,
and the numbers work. What?
Exactly. So we'll see how this unfolds.
It's an interesting time. It's a great time to be a buyer. So if you're a seller.
So for those of you on the email list, definitely check out the feature sheet that we have, the projected financials as well as the listing. If you're watching this on YouTube and you are not on the email list, we don't yet have an easy way to sign up, but maybe email Ryan. The contact details will be there, and then we'll definitely get you added to the Hot Deal newsletter that we share this video, but along with that we also share a lot more information about these properties to those on that list. Awesome.
Okay. See you.